Welcome to our Upgrade Your Certification to Oracle Database 12c presentation. A bit about myself. My name's Gwen. As you can see, I'm an OU trainer. I work out of the UK. I'm been an OCP since Oracle 8i, and I'm an OCM at 11G. I hope you find the next few minutes very interesting and relevant to you. So let's get started. Right, what we'll be covering in this webinar is, our general agenda is the new process for upgrading your certification. We're going to be looking at what's new, the new style exam, and the new way of upgrading the certification. I'm then going to talk about the exam itself, what to expect in the exam, what topics we look at, the fact that the exam has now got 2 parts. And then I'm going to look at how do you actually prepare for the exam. We'll talk about gap analysis, about what Oracle University can do to help you prepare for the exam, and also self-study options that you might want to go through as well. We're going to have a question and answering session at the end. I've already got a couple of questions come in, but I'm going to leave answering to most of those questions to the very end of our session. So I hope you're all sitting comfortably, and let's get started. Right, the new process for upgrading certification. Well, it's not all that new for people who may be upgrading from 11G, but it is very new for people who might be upgrading from older releases, let's say Oracle 7 or 8 or 8i, 9 and 10. In the past, if you were certified in Oracle 8 and you were contemplating upgrading to Oracle 11 certification, that meant you would have to have sat many, many exams. And I can imagine that being a bit off-putting. It would off-put me quite a bit. Now we've only got one single exam that you need to sit in order to upgrade your certification up to Oracle Database 12c. And this is from any version of OCP Database Administrator. How have we managed to do that? Well, we've got a brand new style of exam. Now, just out of interest, I'm going to ask you to do a bit of a polling here. I'm going to put a poll up and ask you how many people are contemplating upgrading from Oracle 7 or 8 or 9, just to have an idea of how many people would be actually thinking about doing that. So poll should have appeared on your screen now if you just want to click on whatever's relevant to you. That will give you an idea of who the audience is I've got with me today, because obviously people who are upgrading from 7 up to 11, up to 12 will have a bit of a harder job maybe than those people who are upgrading from 11G. We're just going to keep that poll open for a minute or so while I continue on. Yeah, so we've got this new style of exam. We still have the Oracle Database 12c New Features section, and normally our exams in the past, when you upgrade your certification, is just looking at 12c New Features. So this proves to us that you know the new features. However, it doesn't actually prove to us that you still know how to be a DBA. So our second part of the exam that we're going to look at is the key DBA skills. Now, these key DBA skills are there for a few reasons. It allows you to recertify yourself as an OCP. You may have sat the OCP exam many, many years ago. Many years ago it was Oracle 7. And what these questions and this part of the exam allow us to do is recertify yourself as an OCP and check if you've kept your skills up to date. So let's see what the results are. We've got some of you are into upgrading from 7, some of 8, 9, most of you from 11G. That's what I would have anticipated. But we do have some people who are thinking of upgrading from Oracle 7 and Oracle 8. And as I said, in the past, that would have been quite a long, many, many different exams you'd have to sit along the way. But this new style exam means only one single exam. The key DBA skills there are there to recertify yourself as an OCP. Back in the days of Oracle 8i, when I first did my exams, I had to sit 5 exams, and I studied for ages for those 5 exams to prove that I was an OCP. What we're checking now is whether you've actually retained those skills, whether you do still know the difference between table space and a table, something like that. And when you think about all the changes that have happened over the years, just thinking that simple table space there. In Oracle 8i, we introduced locally managed table spaces. In Oracle 9i, we introduced automatic segment management for those table spaces. And of course, in Oracle 10, we introduced big file table spaces. What we're looking at in this key DBA skills section is, have you kept those skills up to date? And can you still, have you retained the OCP skills? And have you upgraded those over the years? So let's look at a bit more about the exam itself. Now, if you want to know about anything to do with any of the certification exams, the place to go to is the certification website. So certification.oracle.com. This is the place to go to, the Oracle, if you like, of anything to do with Oracle certification. And that's what I'm going to do now, take you to our website so I can show you more details about the 12C upgrade exam. So training, certification, the easiest place to go to find details of exams, if you go to all exams, faster when I've been practicing it today, and click on database. And you can see right at the top there, pride of place, we've got the upgrade to Oracle Database 12C exam. Now, the first place it's going to take us to is the exam description page. And here we can see that it's a multiple choice exam, where you can see multiple choice down there. And it's 120 minutes long, and it's divided up into two sections. Section 1 has 51 questions, and Section 2 has 34 questions. Now, this will vary over time. But at the moment, this is what the situation is. I'll talk about more how the exam may change over time as we go on. You need to get 64% right of Section 1 and 65% right of Section 2 in order to pass this exam. 64% of 51 questions? That's not too hard, is it? Yeah, wait until you see the topics, you might be saying to yourself. Notice the question, I said we'd do frequently asked questions towards the end of the call, but a question I get asked often about is version of the database our exams are actually certified against. As you can see, this exam has been validated against 12.1.01, which is the current release of 12.1. What will happen in future as new patch sets and new releases of 12 come out is that we will actually verify our questions as being still correct against the new version, new patch set of the database. And we will adjust questions, remove questions, rewrite questions as necessary, and we will post up on here what the exam has been validated against. There will be a bit of prior notice, though. We won't just swap it out one day. There will be a bit of prior notice there saying that on a certain date we'll swap over to an exam which is validated against the more recent version. But let's go and see what's actually in that exam. I mentioned before, it's divided up into two sections. Just going to make this longer so we can see the full page. If we look at exam topics there, and I'm going to work my way through the topics, but at the moment you can see we've got the new features of Oracle Database 12C, so the kind of thing we would expect in one of these upgrade exams. And we've also, towards the bottom, we've got the key DBA skills. Now, new features of Oracle Database 12C, well, that is the Section 1. So you would be anticipating 51 questions at the moment on this. So let's see what the topics are actually there. Well, we've got Enterprise Manager and other tools. Those of you who know something about 12C know that DB Control has been replaced with another tool called EM Express, Database Express. We've got, do you know how to use OUI and DBCA for installation and configuration? Now, people, if you're preparing for the exam, just always be a bit careful because you may have met OUI and DBCA from previous releases. It's worthwhile double-checking that nothing has changed in those. DBCA, for instance, has changed quite a bit in 12C. We then have a section on a new feature of 12C that everybody seems to have heard about. Multi-tenant container databases or multi-tenant architecture databases. This is one of the big new features of 12C. And as part of the exam, you will be expected to know about these. So the basics behind them, identify the benefits of the multi-tenant container database, explain the root of multi-tenant architecture. Looking at configuring and creating these. We're looking at managing them. Starting them up and shutting them down, logging into them, changing instance parameters. Well, in particular, we're going to be looking at what's different. What's different between the non-CDBs and the CDBs? Well, the traditional database is now called non-CDBs, and the new style of multi-tenant architecture called CDBs. We're going to be interested in the exam questions about what's different between these all. Another big push, another big new area inside 12C is information lifecycle management. We've got the idea of automatic data placement, ability to move data files and partitioning online, heat map to perform tracking. We've also got in-database archiving and valid time temporal. What do you know about these? Maybe worthwhile reading up from them. We've got auditing, the new auditing, unified audit trail that's introduced in 12C. We've got new privileges for sysbackup, syskm, sysdg. We've also got a new tool for do privilege analysis. You'll be expected to know how to use that for the exam, and about Oracle data redaction, and about RMAN enhancement. Oh, this does seem a lot of things here. New SQL tuning available in 12C. We've got new ways of doing emergency monitoring, real-time ADDM, compare period ADDM, active session history. Resource Manager, the main new features of Resource Managers are to do with container databases and pluggable databases. That takes us back to the idea of do you know about multi-tenant architecture. We've got index and tables enhancements, enhancements to online operations. ADR has some new areas. Data Pump and SQL Loader and external tables, they've been around quite a while now, and they've had new additions, new functionality added to them. You'll be expected to know about what these new additions are. Partitioning enhancements, we added a lot of new partitioning enhancements in 11G, and in 12C, we've made partitioning easier to look after. And finally there, details with, about the new migration assistant for Unicode, for row limiting clauses, lob enhancements, and extended data types. Now, those are the 12C new features. Now, some of you will actually find the core administration task maybe of more interest at this moment in time. I'm an Oracle Certified Master Proctor. I proctor the OCM exams. And what I commonly hear at the end of the exams is from the candidates is that the bits they found hardest were the day-to-day administration parts. Because they're OCMs or OCM candidates, they are dealing with RAC and data guard, the high-end clusterware. They're dealing with ASM. And they forget about the day-to-day administration task because that's somebody else's job. Those are the things that we certified you against when you first became OCP. And in the TDBA section, we're looking at those again and seeing, have you kept them up to date? So we're looking, do you still know the fundamentals of the database architecture? There has been changes in there for 12C, particularly some of the background processes like PMON and LREG. Can you still install and configure a database? Well, actually, we talked about that in the 12C new features section as well. We're looking at server and client network, database alerts that came in Oracle 10G. Daily administration tasks, well, that covers a lot, wide variety of things, doesn't it? We've got user administration, we've got table spaces. We've got many different types of table spaces these days, many different configurations. Have you kept up to date with these? Can you remember them all? Applying, reviewing patches. OPatch appeared in Oracle 9.9. In 11G, we introduced online patching. Backup and recovering the database. RMAN, hot backups. Troubleshooting network and database issues. We're looking at Data Recovery Advisor, new in 11G. Flashback technology first appeared in Oracle 9.9. It's been growing more and more flashback options available to you now. Loading, unloading data. Well, that's SQL Loader and Data Pump and external tables. Again, we mentioned those in the 12C new features. Miscellaneous items. First three here. Sys occupants, default permanent table space, redo log file size advisor. They all appeared in Oracle 10G. Secure file lobs, 11G. Direct NFS, 11G as well. Performance. Can you remember how to design a database layout for optimal performance? How to monitor performance, manage memory? Of course, that's changed quite a bit over the past few releases as well. In 10G, we had the automatic shared memory management. In 11, AMM. Real application testing, the RAP pack, introduced in 11. Resource Manager has been around for a long time, but not many people use it, although I'm beginning to see much more interest in it in the last few years. Implement application tuning. Can you use the SQL Tuning Advisor, the SQL Access Advisor? ASM. Well, managing database storage structures, that's not necessarily ASM, but ASM has been a very rapidly taken up product. It came into Oracle 10G. I, as a trainer, was amazed at how many people picked it up. Very popular product. Oracle considers that as a OCP, even if you don't use ASM, you should actually understand the principles behind it and be aware of what it can do for you. Also managing very large databases. Partitioning comes into there. Implementing space management in general. Security policies, auditing, password files, column and table space encryption. A lot of these have been enhanced over the years. So particularly if you're coming up from Oracle, let's say 7 or Oracle 8, you need to make sure that you have kept up to date with these. You may want to grab hold of some training manuals. Maybe you did at Oracle 8 or Oracle 9i, or maybe some colleagues of yours have used to see if you can get up to date on these. Keeping about up to date, well, the next section of this presentation is about how to prepare for your exam. We've talked about the topics, we've looked through them briefly, but how do you actually prepare for the exam? Well, the advice I always give my students and candidates are to print out this page. Look at this page in front of us. It lists all the topics, all the objectives there. Print it out on some strong paper, because you're going to be using this piece of paper again and again and again. They're going to get quite crumpled over time. And then very honestly go through these lists and tick off the things that you know well. Put a tick there, a check mark. Put a question mark against the things, well, I think I know about this, but maybe I need to investigate a bit more. And then put a cross next to the stuff you just don't know. Now, based upon how many ticks and how many crosses and how many question marks, that can be a start of working out how you're going to actually prepare for these exams next. But remember to be honest. Also, do a bit of research. You may think you know all there is to know, let's say, about duplicating a database. I had a student in recently, yes, he used duplicate database command every single day. Well, not every single day, but on a regular basis. He knew it very, very well. But it came as a complete surprise to him that in 11G, we'd introduced many new ways of being able to duplicate your database. So it would be worthwhile, as you go through this list and tick things off, to maybe open up the documentation and make sure that you do know about managing a table spaces for a CDB or a PDB. Just do a brief reading, have a quick look at the documentation, because it may be something you do every day, but there may be something beyond what you do every day that the questions might be on. There could be more functionality there that you don't use, and maybe you need to find out about. So be careful when you do this gap analysis. Be careful, be realistic. Make sure you use the right, when you do your ticks and your crosses and your question marks. Now, based upon that, well, let's go back and look at what the pass mark here is. Section 1, 64%. Section 2, 65. Look at how many ticks, look at how many crosses, and look how many question marks. If you've ticked off 99% of what's inside these exam objectives, then you probably are ready to sit the exam. If you've crossed out 80% of the exam objectives, then you're probably not, and you're going to need maybe a training course to help you along there. And I'm going to introduce you to the training courses and the training offerings we have in a few minutes' time. In between, well, maybe you've got 60%. You've ticked off 60 or even 65% of those sections. That means you're on the borderline. Remember, the questions you get on the day are random questions. They're taken from the whole syllabus. So you may be unlucky. You may know 65% of the exam, but that might not be the 65% you get. So you need to do some more studying, maybe get to up to 70%, up to 80%. That you are happy with, that you know these subjects well. So, what offerings can we do, can Oracle University do to help you? Well, if I click onto the exam preparation tab here, our recommended training course for preparing for the 12C upgrade exam is the Oracle Database 12C New Features course. Now, if I click on there and open this up, you'll see, well, if I go to course topics, that the course topics resemble the exam topics quite a bit, at least for the 12C New Features part. We use the course topics as a blueprint, if you like, for our exam questions. We can't just ask random 12C questions for the exam. We need to have some sort of basis to base us upon, the exam structure upon. So the 12C New Features course is what we've based the 12C upgrade exam, at least the 12C New Features part on. Now, if you are brand new to 12C, then this is the ideal path to take to do the full training course. But if you've worked with 12C a while, maybe this is not the ideal course for you. Maybe you've been dealing with new features for a while, and also maybe your company will not actually pay for the full 5-day training course because they're not going to use all that functionality. This is where that gap analysis can come in handy. If you can identify your weak areas, the areas that you don't know all that well, you might be able to find another course that might cover it and might have actually be use to your company. So let's look at multi-tenant databases. Now, if I can spell that. And not only does our 5-day 12C New Features course cover multi-tenant databases, I'm hoping this comes up. Yep, here we go. Oh. Come on. I'm hoping, even though I got an error message, this actually brings back some results. I think it won't. Try that again. We've got 2 other courses that cover them. One, we've got the 2-day Managing Multi-Tenant Architecture, which actually goes into much more detail about the multi-tenant architecture in the New Features course. And maybe if your company are interested in multi-tenant, that is one that they will be prepared to sponsor you for. And also rack administration. We've got sections in the rack administration course to do with multi-tenant architecture. Again, if your company are interested in 12C rack, that is another place you might be able to get your training information from. But how about the key DBA features? The key DBA roles, jobs, skills, I should say. Well, those are a bit harder to pin down. Again, you might want to look at your gap analysis. You might want to consider some of the workshop training courses. Admin workshop for 12C starts you from the very beginning again. But we've got other offerings for you. Not just training courses, we've also got some exam prep seminars. So I am taking you to Training on Demand section here. You can also get to these from the certification pages as well. Come on. We have had for a few releases now what they call the exam prep seminars. These are pre-recorded seminars which cover all the objectives for your particular exam that you were looking at. Now, the 12C exam prep seminar for the upgrade course is due to be released any day now. We were hoping it will be available today to show you, but it's not. It's going to be released in the next couple of weeks. It's one that's very close to my heart because I actually recorded it. But I've just stopped here at the exam prep seminar for upgrade to Oracle Database 11G, which was recorded by a colleague of mine, Joel Goodman. These exam prep seminars cover every single objective in the exam. So that long list of exam topics I showed you before from 12C new features, as well as the key DBA skills, are covered in this exam prep seminars. They are pre-recorded. You watch them where you want, 24/7 access. And me, or Joel in this case, will take you very quickly through the key objectives, all the objectives of the exam. It's a fast-paced review. The idea is to identify the areas of the exam you don't need to spend any more time on. You know those, and we reassure you that you know those. There's also the sections that you know a bit on will actually help you strengthen your knowledge on those areas. And of course, it also identifies the area that you just don't know anything about. And all right, it won't teach you everything you need to know about those areas, but it will get you started. It means it will help you to identify the areas and get you started in prepping those particular areas and understanding them a bit more. Now, in a few minutes' time, I'm going to actually show you more details of the 12C exam prep seminar. I've got some details in the slides about them, but that's the 11G. I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to show you the 11G new features for administration. Let's see more exam details. The reason I'm taking to here is the 12C upgrade exam is still quite new. So all the offerings OU have available to you to make your prep easier or help you along the way aren't actually queued up yet. But by looking at the 11G new features exam, you get an idea of what actually will be available over time. We've got, of course, the 11G new features course there. We've got the certification exam prep seminar, how to upgrade to Oracle 11G. That's the one we were just showing with Joel there. We've also got value packages. These are discounted packages. If you buy your exam itself and the prep seminar or a training course, we can give you some discount. And again, in the slide later on, I'll be showing you all about that. Practice exams. These are practice exam questions. Not just saying whether you've got them right or not, but it will give you an idea of the style of questions you're going to get. It will give you an idea of, not only the style, but how much you actually know. It won't just tell you that you've got the question wrong or right. It will also tell you why you've got it wrong or right. Those of you who haven't sat an OTP exam for a while may be a bit rusty on the type of questions we actually ask you. They generally fall into two categories. We've got what they call factual or learning type, when we ask you questions like, which tool would you use to do this? You want to set a particular parameter in your instance that will control that. And we'll give you a list of parameters, which is the parameter you have to set in order to control this particular function, let's say the size of the SGA. We've also got what they call practitioner or scenario-style questions, when this is more, we give you information and you work out what to do next. So let's say business requirements for an SLA, and you work out your backup and recovery strategy based upon those business requirements. Now, in the OCA exam, or the first level of certification, you probably would expect to see more learner-style questions, factual-style questions, while things like our performance tuning certification, you probably expect to see more scenario-style questions. In the new features exam, the upgrade exams, well, all we can really say is you're going to get 20% of factual and 20% of practitioner. There's always going to be that 20% element of one of those inside there. But if you're, as I say, rusty about what exam questions are like, you may actually want to buy some of these sample questions there. That's not the end of offerings we've got. We have got some free offerings as well, always of interest to people. If I go to oracle.com/go to OLL, this is the Oracle Learning Library. Again, these are written by Oracle University, and they are free. There's hundreds of different demonstrations and tutorials on here. So if just one particular area, let's say resource manager, that you are a bit hazy on. Can I spell today? Yes, I can. You may want to, I'm going to get that one if I wanted it or not. You will be able to, it's not my day today, is it? You'll be able to get a demo or a tutorial on that particular area you want. Now, when I tried this early today, that actually worked, but not today. No, sorry about that. If we go back to products, you actually see the Oracle Database 12c Learning Library here. Details of multi-tenant architecture, about performance tuning, about SQL+, ILM. All of these, particularly if you've done that gap analysis and you're on that 70-80% threshold and you just want another 10% or more information, you can use some of these just to boost that knowledge, just to give you a bit more confidence. Or maybe you've already ticked off 90% and you just want to be that bit more confident about what you might actually get and what questions you might actually get. Now, let's go back to that PowerPoint slide. Yes. So as said before, the place to go for all exam information is certification.oracle.com. There's loads of information there. As you see in the individual exam pages, we'll give you information about the topics. And as time goes on, we'll see the exam prep seminar information and the self-test software information coming up there as well. How to prepare for the exam? Well, as I mentioned, do a gap analysis. It is well worthwhile sitting down and spending a few minutes, or even more, hours even. I remember doing this for my OCM exam, having this one scrap of paper hanging around, carrying it around with me everywhere, just ticking things off as I went along. So do a tick for the things you know well. Question mark, could do a bit better. A cross over the things that you just don't know about. And you're going to need some more time to prepare that. So what Oracle University courses and seminars can we give you to help on this? Well, one, as I said before, is closest to my heart is the exam prep seminar, upgrade to Oracle Database 12c. This is a pre-recorded 44 videos, well, 43 and an introduction. Fast-paced, objective-focused review. We go through all the topics in both exam sections. So not just 12C new features. We've also taken information from OCA and OCP exams, the actual first-time OCP exams, and included that in there to cover the key DBA skills areas as well. In all, it's 11 hours and 59 minutes, I've been told, but I've put down 12 hours there. Delivered in a video streaming format, which means you can rewind, replay, you can fast forward the bits you know already, and we play them again and again as you need to. As I say, I'm the one who's recorded those. We've got hands-on training. We've highlighted the 12C New Features course here, but there are many other 12C courses out there that might help you, particularly if you've done a gap analysis and you've realized which areas you are particularly weak on. Now, what I should have shown you when I was showing you the 12C New Features administrative page is the fact that our courses actually come in 3 different formats now. We've got the classroom format, the traditional format, when you are in the same room as your instructor and all your other delegates and all your machines. Those are traditional formats. Newer formats is live virtual classes. LVCs, as we tend to abbreviate them to, well, they make use of the WebEx environment. So this very environment that you're seeing now may be slightly different. You'll view your instructor, work with your instructor, communicate with your instructor using this WebEx environment. You also get dial information or VPN information to actually connect into a classroom. Maybe the very same classroom you would have actually attended the course in had you done a live course. You have a lab machine. You have 24/7 access to those lab machines, or maybe 24 hours access. You won't have 7 days access to lab machines. And you can chat to your instructor, chat to your fellow attendees, work your way through the course. On-demand courses, training on-demand courses, again, it's the same exam. It's the same course, but this time you don't have a live instructor. Well, the instructor was live when it was recorded, but this is a pre-recorded video class. So it's in a normal Oracle classroom. There is an instructor there, writing on the board, talking to the delegates. Sometimes there are delegates in the room as well. But again, like the exam prep seminar, you can fast forward, replay, download. You have 90 days access to these. So you can spread your learning experience out over 90 days. You also get access to the lab machines. You arrange for a period of time on the lab machine so you can work your way through the labs as well. All of our training courses come with e-kits. So our course materials giving you an e-kit format, PDF format. Those are yours for you. Those are there for you to keep. And you can use them as reference material when you're actually preparing for the exam as well. Now remember, the training courses are there to train you up in the 12C new features for administrators, while the exam prep seminar are primarily there to help you prep for your exam. We also have self-study training courses, computer-based training. These might be useful for the key DBA skills. They are self-paced format. There's 5 days of content for the 12C new features administrators, but of course we'll also have them for the backup and recovery workshop. We'll also have them for the admin courses. We'll also have them for the multi-tenant database courses as well. So it's another option, particularly for the key DBA skills, that you can refresh your knowledge of these by using the self-study training. Some people have been asking about prices of these. I mentioned when we were looking at the website before that we do discount packages. So the exam prep seminar discount package, you buy your training course or seminar, you buy a voucher for the exam, and you buy an e-practice. These together, if you buy all three together, you get a discount, 20% discount there. If you buy the actual training courses, you get various different discount levels depending on what format you've got the training course in. So classroom, LVC, training on demand, and self-study. So buying these all together, your training course, a voucher for the exam, so that will pay for the exam, and e-practice, some of the self-paced questions, you can get these discount packages for. And details of these will be appearing on our website in the next week, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. We were hoping to have them there today, but time has defeated us. But other ways of preparing for the exam. That Oracle Online Learning Library I just showed you before, you can navigate to from OTN. If you go to otn.oracle.com, down the left-hand side, you'll see a link called Tutorials. Or you can go to the URL I've got on the page here, www.oracle.com/go-to/OLL. Those of you who need to done up in your key DBA skills and seeing how they've changed over the years, you might want to go and look at some old course notes. These days we have the e-kits, all electronic format, but remember the course notes? You might have loads lying around. It might be worth digging them out, dusting them off, and having a quick browse through those. I personally have a cupboard in my house that nobody's allowed to go into because if they do, all these old course notes fall out. So dust them off, have a read through them. The practice exams. The links will appear on the 12C pages for the 12C upgrade exam page when they're available for 12C. You may have seen before that there was 2 links there. They're actually underneath the covers. They're going to the same company underneath the covers there. Best way, of course, to practice is to practice and to practice. Our exams are not just knowledge there. They're trying to find out if you can apply the knowledge that you learnt during training courses, through webinars like this. But the best way to learn is to actually use those. Well, everybody's got a different learning style. I can sit there with a course manual at eKit, but I don't actually learn all that much until I actually get a keyboard out, get a database up and running, and actually play with it, practice, check the syntax. Does that command actually do what I think it does, or does it do something else? You may want to get a sandbox environment. Maybe your company has one. I have virtual machines on my laptop. I also have a Windows databases as well, so I can play around with those. Virtual machines, sandbox technology, anywhere you can play. Observe colleagues, both senior and junior. Maybe you don't do day-to-day administration of the database. Maybe you don't create user accounts anymore. Maybe you don't create table spaces or expand those out. Maybe your junior colleagues do. Maybe it's worthwhile swapping jobs for the day. Maybe it's worthwhile sitting observing your junior colleagues. Maybe a senior colleague is the one who's configuring a multi-tenant architecture for you, or working with the partitioning, working with ILM. It's worthwhile asking if you can observe them for the day, or work with them for a while, or volunteer yourself for a project that might involve this, and then you can gen up on your skills as you go through. Also out there, exam preparation books. Oracle Press usually do them, and other people as well. Amazon's a place to go to look for those mainly. There's many other ways. As I say, everybody has different learning styles. Different ways of preparing for exams. I had a colleague who just wrote out everything, used to write out their training material. All the slides, she used to write them out again, and that was the way she had of learning these things. I'm going to go through some of the questions now, but Gerald, there were some more poll questions we were interested in asking you, so do you want to bring one of those up? Now that you know a bit more about these exams and how to prepare for them, are you interested in actually sitting one of them? And maybe how far into the future? Right, I have got my chat panel open now, and I'm just going to go briefly through some questions that have appeared while I've been on the air now. Maybe if you've got any more questions you would like to ask, you may actually want to put them into the chat panel now. If you make sure they get sent to all panelists, I've got a couple of colleagues on there as well who may be able to answer the ones that I can't answer. Now, one of the very first questions I got, even before the seminar started, was plans for the 12C OCM. Well, in the 11G, we had a one-day upgrade exam, and we had a two-day full exam. And to my knowledge, as we stand, that is the plan for 12C as well. There will be a one-day upgrade and a two-day full exam. We've only just started preparing those, so it's not going to be in the next couple of months. You see them appearing. The upgrade exam will probably be first, and then the two-day later on after that. Just to clarify, the exam is just one exam. There's two parts to the exam, but there is just one exam. Somebody was just asking how many exams you have to sit. I'm trying to see anything else. Some people have asked whether there is any training requirement. You do not have to sit an Oracle training course to upgrade your OCP certification up to 12C. You only have to sit a course if you're going to do a brand new OCP certification, so if you're starting from scratch again. I'm just wandering through here. There's loads of questions that come in. It's just ones that I can easily answer are the... Another question, if you fail one of the sections, do you have to take both of them again? Yes, unfortunately, this is one exam, so if you do fail one of the sections, yes, you do have to take both sections again. But it should be easier the second time. Somebody's asked the difference between the Oracle documentation and building self-study CD-ROMs. Buying the self-study. Well, the self-study CD-ROMs are actually computer-based training courses. They're not just pages and pages of documentation to read through. There's presentations inside there as well. Someone else asked whether we have unscored questions. Yeah, it is policy. There is, not always, but there could be some questions which are unscored. You won't be told which ones they are. Someone's asking whether I recommend the self-study over the exam prep. Well, I'm a bit biased there. I'm probably not the best person to ask because I did the exam prep. But I am somebody who can learn a bit more visually and listening to things. So, yes, that would be my choice of doing things. The exam prep seminars contain our videos. Somebody's asking, the CBT are more presentation. I wouldn't actually say they're videos, but they're more graphically designed. They're not just reading documentation. Somebody's asked, do you need to submit any docs to prove that you're an ATI OCP? All your information will be inside CertView. If you have not sat a test for an Oracle exam for many years, it might be that you have never registered with Pearson VUE, which are the current people who run our exams for us. If you only ever registered through Prometric, you need to register your details on Pearson VUE, and you can also get all your previous exam history linked to your Pearson VUE account. If you go to Pearson VUE www.pearsonvue.com/Oracle, you register there. It will tell you how to to link that Pearson VUE account with your previous Prometric account. Somebody's asked the best course to take as of now to get a complete overview of 12C architecture and new features. Probably the 12C new features course. That would be the best one for those. There is, someone's asked, there's no 11G upgrade test to 12C. There is one exam now to upgrade from any previous release. So it's the same exam if you want to upgrade from 11G or from 10G or 9i and below. Someone's asked if taking multiple practice exams and passing at 90%, is that a good indication of passing the real exam? Well, the pass rate for the real exam is 65%, so I think you've worked very hard there. I think you're probably ready to sit the exam there. Someone's asked if the exams are actually mixed, whether the questions are actually mixed up, Section 1 and Section 2. I'm afraid I can't answer that. I don't know if any of my colleagues can answer that one. And all the questions are multiple choice. How long in between exams can you retake? If you do fail the exam, and I hope you don't, it's 14 days before you can retake. At least that was the policy last time I looked. Maybe somebody can correct me on that. Let's see if any more questions are coming in. Somebody's asked if we got exams with trick questions. We should never have trick questions in there. We do vet them, and no, there should not be any trick questions in there. We are very, very careful with the words that we use to make sure that they're not ambiguous, and sometimes that means we do have to use some strange words. How far back in versions will the key database section go? It's the key database section, key DBA skills, are the key DBA skills at 12C. So we're trying to find out if you still know how to administer a database at 12C, even though you took maybe your initial certification at 9i or 10G. Someone's asked if you've got ATI certification. If you just have to sit the one exam, and that will get you up to 12C. I can't keep up with these questions. I keep them whizzing past my screen. Do you need any other training to upgrade from 9i to 12C? 12C new features will show you the 12C new features, but you may need to do a gap analysis on your key DBA skills. And maybe the exam prep seminar is ideal for you to make sure those are up to date, or maybe some of the free online Oracle Learning Library information, etc., etc. It all really depends. Everybody's preparation path will be different because everybody will have a different skill set at the moment. There are no 10G or 11G specific questions. The exam is at 12C. How long is each exam question? Well, the overall exam, if you go back to the exam page, is 120 minutes, so that's 2 hours. So, somebody's asked, my company is still not using 12C. Should I wait to give exam after familiar with it? Well, go through that gap analysis, as I mentioned before. Just find out how much of 12C you know. It's always useful. The exams are supposed to not just be theoretical knowledge. They're supposed to actually show whether you can apply some of that knowledge. And if you have actually worked with 12C in a real environment, then that might actually help you prepare for that. The 12C, someone just asked if the 12C new features cover both sections. No, the 12C new features course only covers the 12C new features for administrators. If you want the exam prep seminar, however, does cover the key DBA skills as well. Somebody's asked a question. Several of you have asked whether the two sections of the exam are presented separately. I actually don't know. I haven't actually sat that exam myself. I, as involved in the preparation for the exam, have to do a different route. I don't know if Kate or Harold can help. My colleagues who are on the line, as several people have asked the same question.
Yeah, Gwen, this is Harold. In fact, I just put that question over to the manager of exam development, and if she can answer me by chat within the next 2 or 3 minutes, I will get an answer back to you guys. I'm not sure yet, but we got the answer in the right hands.
Yeah. I've been asked the question about 5 or 6 different people. I'm sure there's many more people asking the same question out there.
Sure. And I saw another question earlier that I actually just got some breaking news on. They were asking about whether the practice questions would be available soon from a third party, and the answer is yes. There's a company that Gwen had mentioned earlier called Kaplan Self-Test, and they are actually making a practice test now for this particular exam, which is supposed to be released this coming Monday. In fact, they even said possibly as early as this coming Friday. So be watching the exam page for that to be available.
And the easiest way to find the exam page? Well, if I go into the next page here, remember certification.oracle.com, and then that look for the link of the all. Go to the certification tab and navigate down to all exams, and you can easily find details of the 12C upgrade exam from there. There has been loads and loads of questions streaming past, but they seem to have come to a halt now. Sorry I didn't answer them all. There were just too many whizzing past there. But if you've got any more now, the exam tester company was Kaplan. Again, once the exam test questions have been released, they will be appearing on the exam page there. So you'll be able to click on the details and take you directly to their website.
And for those of you all who are asking questions that maybe we didn't get to, keep an eye on the Oracle Certification Facebook page. We'll try and collect a lot of these questions and get the questions to the right people and possibly answer them more in full over on the Facebook page. So take a look over there.
Yeah, sorry, I was a bit overwhelmed with all those questions come in. I wasn't quite prepared for all of those.
A good problem to have, yeah. So thanks for asking.
Yeah. My eyes weren't focusing very fast enough. We've been going an hour now. It's 8 o'clock where I am. I don't know what time it is where you are. So I think we're probably about to close any minute now. So any last questions? Many thanks for all your attendance. I hope you found the last hour useful. As Harold has just said, keep track of the Facebook page, to find out answers to some of the questions we didn't catch. There's also one last poll question that is going out there, just to ask whether you would like to receive more information from our representatives. Good day, good evening, good night to you all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. I hope the last hour was useful for you.